And we are live. Hello, ladies.
Hi, ladies. Good
So,
evening.
Oh,
welcome to the show, to Goddess Bella. And we're going to be talking today about steaming, pelvic steaming.
Yep.
So, I want you to tell us more, of course, and educate us today on pelvic steaming because I feel like a lot of people don't know. I mean, they know about it, but it seems like we still have questions about it.
Yeah.
Um, and there are some he say, she say stuff about rituals, and some people don't see the benefit of it, but then some people do. I know I do personally. And when I have done my steaming, you personally did it for me. So I was really comfortable. I felt relief, cleans, rejuvenated. I had all of those feelings. So today we're going to talk about that. And we have the expert here, Miss Bella, to definitely give us more insight on this steaming. I know we had some questions. So we'll
hmm
start. Well, go ahead
I can
and
start.
introduce yourself, Miss Bella.
Um, I am a Perry Theme facilitator, and I recently just got certified with my new title. I'm originally a massage therapist, and I've been doing massage for over 20 years. I've been steaming for um, maybe well over 4 years, and now I have the beginning stages of my education to leading up to being able to serve the community with this new service. And um, theming, I guess I could start off with what it is. It's a traditional, ancient practice women across the world actually do. It, it started off as being just something that midwives do, and you can do after you have the baby, so postpartum. And recently, I just am understanding that a lot of women are doing it for um, just cleansing as well as pampering. And when I started doing the steam, I did not know that it was lots of benefits. I just was doing it because it felt good. I was doing it as a sense of self care, and I'm big on self care, taking care of yourself so that you can take care of others. And now that I have more education on what it really is to steam, I'm sharing and spreading the word.
Well,
So,
thank you.
absolutely, it's been a
Thank.
journey. I I'm understanding that um, it was a need. It's a need in women's health because our healthcare is not. It doesn't cater to us. It doesn't put it in our hands to be able to do what we want to do what we need to do. Um, and I I feel like it's a calling, and just to be able to share and spread the word about what singing is, and that you can sing men and women, and the benefits of being able to sing both, because you don't have to. um, there's a lot of controversy on it. To be honest, a lot of people have said no, don't do it. Doctors, no, don't do it. But you understand, doctors are supposed to push their uh, big pharma. They're supposed to, and they will
Absolutely.
be able to say have the benefits of, and of course they haven't experienced it either. So that's where it's put in our hands to be able to share with one another the benefits. And it starts off with proper period care for women. In the beginning of when we started having our cycles, you didn't get a manual as to what to do to take care of yourself before and during your cycle.
No, I didn't
I
get that.
so,
No,
yeah, I was
we
not
did.
told what to take it easy.
So
I
we
was not
know
told to.
that steaming consists of many herbs, right? But
Right.
um, so there are so many
You can.
type of them. Like, is it hard to like know what goes with what? Is it the herbs themselves, the one that is cleansing you from whatever your situation may be, based on your situation?
Well, when you come into me, to meet me, you have an intake form, and it's going to take you through whatever history, whatever kind of irregularities, and whatever you're looking for in your scene. This will help me to figure out which plan to put you on, which
Okay.
herbs, which set of herbs to put you on. And because some people may not be able to see, some people may have some contraindications, some people may have some soft contraindications that they will just need to be educated on and understand that they can still see, but these things could happen.
Okay,
Just
is
making
that
sure
how
that you.
you also base it on how many times a person should do it based on their situation as well? Is by that
I,
intake form.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. When you go through the intake form, is some really important questions on there that will tell you how deep it can go. So, honestly, I am a facilitator, but I'm still in school. So, my next step is to be a hydrotherapist. The perihydrotherapist is going to be able to address all of the issues that you may have. So, I'm at the beginning stages, but there's so much to learn, and so many things that is helpful. And you don't have to steam with the earth because sometimes people are allergic. They have allergies to um, plants, and you may not want to use any of the herbs at all. Guess what? You can steam with just the water, or you can steam with sea salt water, or you can have a herbal bath. It's a ton of different ways to make sure that you are hydrating, and that's exactly what the steam does. It it incorporates the heat and the circulation.
I have
So
a
when you have.
question,
Yeah.
Bella. Um, on the me and Brent, I believe we both did the intake form, so we got to look at all the questions and stuff like that. And I think it was a very good questionnaire because what I found is just interesting as well was the fact that it had like your history, like if you had any infections or if you had an infection, like
Surgeries,
yeah. So
surgeries, yeah,
that
pelvic.
that's very interesting to me because um I think I read that if you have like a STI or something like that, you're not able to do the steaming because you don't want it to get moist, and that's where the infections, you know, live and stay there. So you do want to get that taken care of before steaming. Am I right?
Steam is Steaming is a catalyst to the healing. So I would say yes, always check in with your doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm not in the medical field. I don't have a license to tell you to do any of those things. So that's my disclaimer altogether. Go to your doctor. However, steaming, the way that I've been taught and the way that we, you know, figure out which plan of to address whatever is going on,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to help. So you don't necessarily have to steam for 30 minutes. That may not be the plan that is good for you, that's best for you to address your concerns.
Mm-hmm.
I start off with the first timers on a 10-minute if you qualify, because there are contraindications that will say you can't get steam at all. So those are if you are pregnant, you cannot steam. If you are on
Yeah,
your cycle, you
you
cannot
can.
steam. If
Yeah.
you have spontaneous periods, like two periods in a month within the last 3 months, that's you've experienced that, you should not steam with me. I would refer you out to a peristeam hydrotherapist and an acupuncturist and put those people on your team to help you to control the bleeding. Also, you cannot steam if you have had surgery. You have to wait your 6 weeks and then be reevaluated to know that if you are able to have the steam.
And the reason not steaming during pregnancy is because you could cause a miscarriage.
The heat and the circulation is what
Okay.
helps the cervix to open up.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't at all.
Yeah, that makes
Not
sense.
period.
Cervix to be opening up during the pregnancy.
Yeah, because it's supposed to
Right. You
loosen
just
up um the uterus lining, right? Kind of like all that stuff. Even with the old blood, they say that that's why you'll notice that old blood comes out too because
Yeah.
of the steam. But anyways, let's get started. Brenda, I know you have some questions.
Well,
Um,
yes. Bella, I had some questions, and really going through the intake form was really enlightening, and it kind of brought me back through my journey with my struggle with endometriosis and fibroids. I've suffered from them. I've suffered from endometriosis since, gosh, I was in college. I was first diagnosed with endometriosis then. And so I've always had really heavy cycles. I was always one that would have maybe 2 periods a month. I never really got any guidance or any real help with what my situation was. It was always, let's put you on this medication, let's put you on this hormone, let's give you the Depo-Provera shot, let's give you progesterone, let's put you on a low dose birth control pill. So it was always big pharma, as we were just talking about, was the solution, never any alternatives. Like when I had my first baby and I was involved with a midwife, the midwife at that time actually talked to me about steaming as I was approaching my postpartum care, and I was into very much into wanting to do something that was much more holistic and less medical. It was a natural birth, a natural delivery. I did not have time to get an epidural or anything like that. It was literally like, okay, you got to push. And I was like, no, I'm not ready. And they were like, the baby's coming. And there he was. So that was my first experience with being exposed to a midwife that actually talked to me about steaming, and that it was an actual ancient practice and started way back when. But I just find it so interesting that it's never been incorporated into the healthcare and health class when we're talking to our children about our, about our bodies. When it came time for me to start my cycle, and the conversation that I had with my mom never included anything about steaming. It never included anything about care. I mean, the only thing that she really had conversations with me about was that, like, douching was not healthy for you. It was not good for you, and not recommended, especially the over-the-counter commercial douches. Now, the midwife did suggest a salt water and a mineral water kind of spritz to kind of use as I was recovering postpartum, to kind of help heal like the tissues and things like that, and to kind of rinse and to kind of use that as like a cleansing agent. But I just think that it's just, there's, as you're furthering your education and as you're on the show tonight and you're talking to us about how you got into this and what is steaming, I just find it that it's so interesting that after all these years, after 20 something years of battling endometriosis and fibroids and having multiple surgeries for the endometriosis and fibroids, instead of being referred out for an alternative to medicine and an alternative to a surgical procedure, why we don't incorporate this. Why is this not incorporated into our everyday routine?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Long time ago when we were steaming and we were able to, um, doctors didn't want you to. People thought that it's witchcraft. You're steaming your herbs to sit over what? Why? They didn't understand. And so they think that it's witchcraft. It's not anything that, for religious beliefs, let's just not do this at all. Let's just tell them that they're doing something wrong. So it was hard. It's hard to pass something down when you can't talk about it. It's hard to pass, that knowledge down to the children when you're told you're doing something wrong or you're going to get in trouble if you do that. So now that we are able to speak out about it, we have so many more avenues to be able to get people into the hospitals. You can even start your labor steaming. My instructor, she was supposed to be induced, but before she went into to the hospital, she steamed one time, 10 minutes, and easy birth. It came out without no tears.
wow.
You know, it
Wow.
was just a lengthy time, but no tears. Come on now, who wants to do that?
Right.
I do.
Oh, no
You
tears.
survived, you
So,
survived
so
without needing stitches. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
yeah.
That's a good thing.
And can you
Now
use
that we're
more, um, Bella? Can you use more than one herb in a in a in a session?
the way that I do my steams, um, depending on which one I need to put you on, it has a base of a couple of herbs altogether. So I take some out and put some back in for whichever one you need. So some people, like me, I radiate heat. I'm already hot, so I don't need anything that is gonna increase the heat for me. It might
Right.
bring on a cycle for me. So I only do 10 minutes. I don't even cover myself because I'm already hot. But yeah, it's just a matter of which one you really need and making sure that if you need a cooling effect, then I do the cooling herb. If you are in need of a cleansing, I do the cleansing herb. But that goes back to when you do your intake, what things may be on there to indicate, yeah, I need to make
Oh,
sure that they stay away from the herbs that you want.
And to the
So
people, if you have trouble getting wet,
Yes.
it helps so
yes,
much because it activates the
yes,
glands.
absolutely. Just from the steam alone, you don't have to have any of the herbs. Just from the steam alone, you will get juicy.
Yeah.
Nice and
Yes.
cool. Love that. So that was one of the questions that I had on my list was does it help with your sex life? Does it help with your sex drive? Does it help with getting you nice and juicy and having you ready for intimacy?
Yes.
I'm steaming
It
more than I
does.
have the last couple of months to have all my last 5 years of knowing about steaming. And I steam before my cycle and after my cycle, and once a week sometimes. And yeah, I'm ready to go.
Okay.
What the steam does is for me is because I don't have those type of issues. I've never had a really hard cycle up until the last uh, beginning of the year when I was using tampons. I had run out of pads. I just needed to use the tampons. That was crazy. It took me a month to get back right. I felt dry. It was terrible. And then I had cramps. So that's the only bad time that I've really had. Okay. So I'm studying this for everybody else. I'm studying this so that I can pass this on to my
Yeah.
daughter. I did not even I did not know that children can sing. Yes. I put that baby on the steamer for 5, 10 minutes, and simple as that. Simple as that. Yeah.
That's good
Yeah.
information.
I was already naturally going down there, but after I steam, I found it that is awesome. It
Yeah.
worked miracles.
Yes. Yeah.
Now on your
Mhm.
intake form, I noticed that you asked questions about radiating heat versus like cool, and herbs that work with heat versus ones that have like a cooling effect. What would be an example of someone that would need a treatment that would offer a cooling effect? You mentioned radiating heat, and you were saying that you radiate heat, and I don't radiate heat. I'm normally cold natured. Like my hands are typically cold, my feet are typically cold because I'm anemic. Um, but I do suffer from night sweats every now and again. So would that be something that would qualify me for a cooling treatment or what?
Yeah, for you, you have night sweats. So that definitely put a ding on your intake form for making sure that you have a cooling. So you'll have the cooling herbs to make sure that you don't have those, but to get things in balance.
Yeah.
So right now you probably your hormones probably feel out of balance. That's why we're sweating at night, or
Yeah,
you
I
may
was
have
just
some
about to
stagnant.
ask that.
It's stagnant.
I was just about to
Yeah,
ask, why do we have night sweats?
Yeah.
yeah.
Does it
Imbalance
affect
of our hormones. It could
hormones?
be it could be it could be stagnation of your energy. It could be
Uh,
stagnation of all, all of your cycles together. If you didn't completely empty out on your cycle, then that could cause some imbalances as well.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
That makes
yeah.
sense.
And what the steam will do is increase the circulation through your uterus. You have a a vein that goes all the way up to your heart. And when you are about to have your cycle, that blood is flowing. If all of that blood doesn't empty out in that one cycle, then you may have some leftover and you may have some stagnation. That is what causes the cramps as well. So if you
Mm,
have a couple
Mm.
of parts that are hard, that's difficult coming out, then your uterus will contract.
yeah.
And it's not a contraction just because you have a baby in there. It's contracting, trying to release all of that blood.
Yeah.
So that's the body, you're trying to help it out. Like, let me just do this for you, help you out, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And if you didn't get all of that out, then you may, at the end of your cycle, have a trickle of brown, brownish blood. That's old blood trying to come out.
And it's
I'll tell
painful.
you,
It's
had
painful.
I had old blood at the end of my cycle, but now that I'm steaming, I don't have that anymore. I have
That's
fresh blood. It's red for 4 days. You're supposed to bleed for 4 days. Your cycle should be 28 days. So on that 29th day, you should start to bleed for four
mhm.
days. I'm to a 4 day cycle now.
That's
Unbelievable. I
awesome.
thought that because I didn't have cramps, I don't have these kind of issues. That I don't have anything irregular. I did not know that I still had stagnation going on, but the steam healed and let make sure that my uterus was able to let go of all of that blood. So now when my cycle comes on, it's full blood. It's like
Yeah.
red. And when that fourth day is done,
See, you guys,
and I
that's
don't
I
have
need to go back to sitting down on the sink.
and I don't have any
I mean, this just
telltale
sounds so
of my
awesome.
cycle. Like when you have you're like, I got PMS. Yeah, I need to stay away from everybody. I don't have that.
That's
You
great.
see,
This last
That's,
cycle, I was
we
cool as a
we have
cucumber. So
we have really
yes,
been missing out, y'all.
yeah, we have to sit. We have
Like
to like. We got to sit. We got to sit down.
I
We got to
know,
sit down
uh,
and sit.
I need to. I know my cycles. I was telling her that my cycles were long, like 2 weeks
Yeah.
sometimes. But
Yeah.
when I started steaming, now I told her it went down to a week.
Yeah.
So now I can expect that week. But I'm sure if I just keep doing it,
Yeah.
if
Keep
I
sitting.
just, we
Keep
need
sitting
to go
down.
sit
yes,
out.
you'll see.
I mean, the benefits are amazing. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's natural.
Right.
Like, so yeah, help me back to go sit down.
That's,
Because
yes.
them
Yes.
4 days sound good.
They do. They do.
They sound good.
Really, and it's as I was saying earlier, it's really frustrating to have gone through all these years of, okay, let's put you on this medication, let's put you on this hormone, let's give you this shot, let's give you this, let's give you this, let's give you this, let's do this surgery, let's do this treatment, let's remove the fibroids, let's laser off the endometriosis. It's like,
When all you
why
had
did
to do was sit down.
all I had to do was sit down? Wrote me a note and told me to go see this person, and all I had to do was go sit down. I would have happily done it, whether insurance paid for it or not. I would have happily done
Yeah,
it,
we
just
have
to
to.
have avoided the long-term effects and the scar tissue, because now I have a lot of scar tissue because I've had so many abdominal surgeries from the
Mhm.
endometriosis and the fibroids. So I do have a lot of scar tissue that is built up that I've had to deal with and have
I
to manage,
say
and that's
there's
painful.
I was listening to my instructor. By the way, Shout out to Stevie Chick, who is the person that came up with she designed her own chair. That's where she started off. And now she's training everyone else. And she created this new field, period. But just listening to her on all of the testimonials, one that really touched my heart was that the young lady had gotten surgery to remove. Um, she had, removed the fibroids, and they were about to do another surgery, but they were uh, waiting to do a ultrasound. In the meantime, she did steaming. She kept to her plan of steaming, and she called my instructor and said, I'm having these things come out of my vagina. I don't know what it is, but it's not painful. It's coming out as I'm wiping, and it looks like jerky. It looks like old. If it was the scar tissue, I'm 100% on board that it was the scar tissue that was coming out of her. So when she went to get the ultrasound, they couldn't find anything.
Oh,
The
wow.
doctor had another specialist in the room, and she was, going to show her all of the adhesions, the scar tissue, but there was nothing to be found.
Oh,
Nothing
wow.
to be found.
Wow.
Wow.
So
That's a
that's
miracle.
that. You got to try it. It's your first line of defense. Period. Period. There's so
Yeah.
many testimonials that I've been listening to that it's some good, really good positive things. The only downside I could say is, if you've had any of those the birth control procedures, that if you have scar tissue, it may heal the scar tissue. You may get pregnant if you still have working things,
If you have
because
like an
it's a
IUD, if you have like an IUD, are you able still to steam or no?
yes, you can sing.
Hmm.
Yes, there's a plan for you.
Okay.
Even if you have an IUD, the birth
Yes,
control. Okay.
yes,
Wow.
you can sing. Have to you can't sing for a long period of time. Number one,
Okay.
and number two, if you have the plastic one, you may want to be precautious of the fact that it could come out. That
Yeah.
is
Okay.
the only downside, because you have a foreign object in there, and of course your body is going to want to heal itself. That's what it does naturally.
Right.
So that is the only possibility that of a downside. So that's all I have to tell you, that you could lose it. It could shift, but at the end of the day, if you're not on there forever, you can't sit on the pot forever. You have to get up. Yeah.
I look, when I go, I stay. I want to
I
stay.
talked to someone who she was steaming and she had an IUD and she said that her IUD came out. And she was actually scheduled to have a partial hysterectomy, but due to her IUD coming out and due to the change in the status of her uterus and her uterine lining, she no longer needed to have the surgery for the partial hysterectomy. So that's
Yes.
another testimonial right there of
I'm
someone who had an
I'm
IUD,
going.
had an IUD. She had an IUD, and the IUD was placed to try to help control her heavy cycles. Similar to my situation, they were like, let's, do an IUD because they were like, the Depo-Provera shot is only going to work but for so long. And then after a certain time, it just is no longer effective on your body. And so what had ceased my fibroids from growing back started to not work anymore. And then I began having issues with fibroids again. And I have a friend that just had surgery like 2 weeks ago for ovarian cysts. So I think it's really important that we as women take this information and we share it and we make it known.
Yes.
There's other alternatives that are out there than a birth control pill, than a shot, than an IUD, than a surgery, all these other medical interventions that they want to do to us, simply because they're afraid of anything that's alternative, anything that doesn't have the big pharma agenda attached to it. If it doesn't end in a prescription or if it doesn't end in a procedure, it's almost like the doctors don't want to do it.
They
And
don't.
that's,
It's not making them money
yeah.
at
Well,
all.
Miss Bella will definitely have another story to put up for her
Yeah.
own business because I'm going back. I
You
gotta go
sit
back.
down. You gonna sit down? I'm gonna sit down too.
Because it's just so many benefits. And then, I've been dealing with fibroids myself. So yeah, we're gonna definitely have this conversation because I want to see how it works and can have my testimony.
Yeah.
It already do, like, I feel so rejuvenated. Like every time I do it, I feel my mind is clear. Like I just feel new. I just feel like a brand new person when I do it. So I
Mhm.
love it. I already like doing it. So
Yeah.
gonna see how this gonna work
Yes.
instead of going the other route.
Right.
I definitely don't like to go to the doc. Well, when we have to go, we have to go. But
Right. Right. But you
You
have to
know,
be able
my instructor
to advocate for yourself. And if you know that there's something else that's out there that could potentially work for you, then you should be open to being able to trying that first. Let's try this first before we get on this medication. Let's try this first before we, book the OR. Let's try this first.
yes, absolutely.
and
I already got my bead.
my instructor called this box a gynecologist in a box because that's exactly what it does. It assists you with whatever kind of issues you may have from your womb. So in the little box, little box. That's all. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely
And
see.
then
Any more questions, Brenna?
I think we answered all the questions.
Yeah, I think we hit some really great
Yeah,
questions.
we hit all of the questions that we had.
And
Yeah.
I do
hopefully
want to
this will
talk
put to
about.
rest a lot of things, a lot of questions that people had regarding steaming. I know some people think it's some type of witchcraft, like Bella was saying earlier. But it's
Why?
not. It's really, I feel like it has some really great benefits instead of going to the doctor and figuring it out. You could, well, you do have to figure whatever, is going on with
Right,
you.
right.
But it has some great benefits. And
Yeah,
I'm going back. So
yeah. I'm with you on that. I think I'm gonna sit down as well.
we go sit down.
Let's go sit down. Sit down. Where you going?
I
I'm
do
going to
want to
sit
tell
down.
y'all that it's sure women
I
who are
haven't been
going through
consistent.
menopause as well.
Uh-huh.
The
You said
we
women
still
going
we
through
still have issues with. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I said I haven't been consistent. So I haven't gotten the full results of and the benefits that it can help me with. And I know it can. I just haven't been consistent.
absolutely. You got
You
to.
have any final thoughts?
I just want to say that I think that, this is something that we should definitely spread the word about. And then as women, as we're spreading the word, encourage other women that may be going through similar situations, or if you're having problems with your cycles and you've gotten a diagnosis of endometriosis or fibroids, look into this alternative of steaming versus getting that prescription filled that your doctor may want to go ahead and put you on. Because like I said, I've gone through endometriosis and fibroids for years and years and years. I've had multiple surgeries for it, and I wish this information was made available to me, back when I was going through all of my difficulties and my challenges with my cycles, and it was just like, oh my gosh, like again already, like I just had a cycle, like why is it starting again? I'm still bleeding. Oh my god, I'm still bleeding. Oh my god, I'm bleeding through my clothes. Like it just was a mess, and it was a terrible time, and I didn't feel supported. One of the doctors that I saw very early on wanted to do a hysterectomy, and I was like, I still want to have more kids. Like, no, we're not going to do a hysterectomy. And he's like, well, I don't want to make a career out of doing surgeries on you. And so I knew that that was definitely, number one, not the right doctor for me, but number two, that there had to be something else out there that was available that I could, start to look into and start to try to kind of avoid that kind of situation. So I just say to make sure that you advocate, for yourself. If you feel like you're going through something and you've seen your doctor and your doctor is wanting to put you on some type of medication or is trying to recommend a surgery, why don't you have a consult about steaming first and see what that does for you? Try to get on a regular routine of steaming and see what benefits your body then shows you that steaming can offer you, and see what kind of results you get. And you might go back to that doctor and they do that ultrasound. They might not find anything, and then there's no need to move forward with the surgery. And you've just saved yourself some extra healing and some extra unnecessary scar tissue. That's all I got to say about that.
Amen to that. Miss Donna, did you have any last remarks?
Yes. Um, you know, a lot more people are learning about it and getting in the know. So there are some doctors that are pro steam. You just have to find them. And it's so many more parenting facilitators that are willing to work with you, and they have a team of people, acupuncturists, abdominal massage, people that can be on your team to help with whatever irregularities, whatever challenges you have. You just have to look for them. And I'm here too, so to assist, make sure that I can help any way I can my community, because this is an ancient and old, um, passed down in all kinds of every culture you can think of, from Guatemalan to um, African. It's all over. Didn't even know. You may even want to ask like a grandmother, did they know anything about semen? You may be surprised. You may be surprised. It could be already in your history. You don't even know. But that's where we have a voice now. We have the knowledge to be able to tell other women about it. So I'm very excited. I'm in at the right time. I'm in at the right time so that I can help all these other women that did not know.
Well, thank you
Provide a
so
place for
much.
them. I'm mobile. I
Yes,
come
she
to
is
you,
mobile.
so I'm excited.
Thank you so
Yes.
much for coming to for accepting to be on the show and giving us the juice, baby.
Okay. You.
All right, you guys.
I look forward
We'll be on next Sunday and we'll be back with Brenna.
That's right. Bye,
Bye
guys.
bye.